Hello everyone, I am Dr. Sharith BK. In this video we are going to study some background about keys and also the drawing method, the different kind of key, etc. First of all, keys are machine parts. These keys, quarters and pin joints are kind of a temporary fasteners which joins two components like a shaft to transmit force and motion from one shaft or one element to another element without slip or without loss of power. So the purpose of key is to join, in case of rotary motion, it used to join two shafts. One may be driver and may be driven shaft. So if you want to transmit power from driver shaft to driven shaft, some couplings are used, and also along with that the keys are used to rigidly join it together without any slip. And one more thing, these keys are temporary fasteners. We can remove it whenever we require, and we can fasten it or we can fix it whenever we need it. Keys are the most common temporary fasteners for motion transmitting connections, and the major function of them is to prevent a relative motion between the members, that means the slip, connected by keys and keyways. The keys are always connected to shaft and hub. This part is called hub and this is called shaft, and this small element is called key. So in order to connect this shaft with the hub, first we will insert it into this, first we will insert this key in this one, and then the assembly we will insert into this hub. So for seating this key, we need a keyway here. Usually the keys are used, keys are made up of any kind of steel, and in majority of the cases the keys are made from the same material of this shaft and hub. Since it is a transmitting rotary motion, the keys are subjected to very high shearing and crushing loads. So the material of key should have a very high shearing and crushing strength. So this is the elements, like what I told is shaft, hub and a key. This is how it look like after assembly. So you can see that here the key is partially inside this hub and partially outside the hub. We will go to the details in next coming slides. So we will see how the assembly is achieved. So as I told, this is the key. The part of this key, like if you think about thickness wise, a part will be seated on shaft, where a shaft on the shaft a groove is made, and half of this thickness will be inside the groove, and half of this thickness will be projecting out of this shaft, and that projected part will be fitted into the groove provided on the hub. And also in lengthwise, part will be outside the hub and part will be inside the hub. So in practical case, we can connect, this is a shaft, so we may need to connect this shaft with pulleys, gears, wheels, sleeves, etc. So those part we can bring in under this hub. Hub is a general name. The key may have different shape. There are parallel and taper key. So in majority of the case, the key may have a taper along its length to for easy assembly, like and dismantling. We can easily insert it and take it out. And as I told, the material usually made up of the same material of the shaft, and it is mostly it is a medium carbon steel. So this is the typical figure for a typical key. Key is designated or specified by mainly three parameters. One is its key length, another one is its key width, and another one is its key thickness. So if you want to purchase or fabricate a key, we should know this length, width and thickness. And in majority of the machining situation, this length, except the length, width, thickness and whatever the other parameters required, are all defined in terms of shaft diameter. Now we will see which are the different type of keys. So based on the geometry, keys are classified as sunk key, saddle key and round key. So we will see which are these different kind of key. Anyway, we will be mainly focusing on sunk key only. These are widely used in practice for heavy duty torque application. They may be either square, rectangular in cross section. Half of the thickness of the key fit into the keyway of the shaft and the other half in the keyway of the hub. Hub means maybe any kind of gear or clutch, whatever it is. And even that sunk key can be further classified into parallel key, taper key and Woodruff keys. Even in parallel and taper key, there are variety of keys are there, like feather key. So parallel key. These are sunk key with uniform width and thickness. So this figure shows the parallel key. Here the thickness and the width all over the length is uniform. That's why it's called a parallel key. That means all the opposite faces will be parallel to each other. These keys are used in mechanical devices such as clutch, gearbox, where mounted element like a clutch plate and a gear require axial movement. That is, suppose one shaft is there, over the shaft some element, some hub need to move over that shaft. In such case we use parallel key. So especially like in a clutch usually, if you know the working of clutch, the clutch plate always slide over the shaft. And also in gearbox, set of gear, when we are shifting the gears, that particular for shifting that particular gear, the related gear shifter is sliding over the rotating shaft. So in all this application, we can only use parallel keys. So they should be able to slide over the shaft. The clearance between the key and keyway in the parts enable the sliding of the part. So it won't be tight fit, there will be some clearance. So definitely it will be a clearance fit. The key may be fastened into the keyway of the shaft by 2 or more screw in case of feather key. You can fasten this key over the shaft or over a hub. That means if you fasten this key over shaft, then shaft and key will be a single unit. If you fasten this key on hub, then hub and key will be act like a single unit. So such keys are called feather keys. Without that fastening, it is simply parallel keys. If you say parallel feather key, that means this key is attached to any of the element, either hub or the shaft. So this whenever this feather word comes related to parallel key or any other kind of key, it means it is attached to some particular part. Now taper key. The cross section of these keys are square or rectangle. The cross section will be square or rectangle, uniform in width, but a taper in thickness. So width will be same all over the length, but the thickness will be changing from one end to another end. Usually the top surface is tapered in the ratio of 1:100. That means usually with respect to the bottom surface, the top will be tapered in the ratio of 1:100. That means if your key is having 100 mm length, then the thickness reduction will be 1 mm. That means here suppose it is 4 mm, the other end it will be 3 mm. So when you are moving from here to here for a distance of 100 mm, 1 mm thickness will be reduced. Hence the keyway in the shaft is parallel to the axis, and the key in the hub is tapered. That means since we are making this side is parallel, this side will be parallel to the shaft axis. Anyway, the top side is going to fit into hub, where hub key will be tapered same as this one. Compared to parallel key, this taper sunk key is easy to remove from the joint by applying force from the exposed small end. So once it get a very small movement, then it will get loosened easily. In some cases, a small end may not be accessible, and in such cases the bigger end of the key is provided with a head called a jib. That means if we want to remove both the end, like this is, suppose this is a smaller end and this is bigger end. If I want to remove this key, I should have to give a blow on the smaller end. In some cases, the smaller end will be inside the machine element, so it may not be accessible. In that case, we will provide a head on the bigger end. This head is called a jib. So this jib is used for the easy removal, and such keys are called jib head key. Now next kind is Woodruff key. This key is a segment of a circular disc of uniform thickness. The bottom may have flat or round. So the figure shows the Woodruff key. This is a part of a circular disc. So one side is flat, other side is circular. The key seat in a shaft is semi-cylindrical. So the shaft will be provided with a semicircular or semi-cylindrical key seat, whose radius will be same as that of key, and cut into a depth such that half of the width of the key extend above the shaft and fit into the hub. So here you can see in the figure, the part is inside the hub and part is projecting out of the shaft. So this projected part will be fit into the hub, so that this projected part will arrest the relative movement of shaft and hub. Woodruff keys are widely used with tapered shaft in machine tool and automobiles. Next one is peg feather key. So as I told, feather key term is coming. That means it is attached to either hub or shaft. In this key, a peg is provided in the middle of the key. So this circular disc kind of portion is called a peg. It is projecting out from the flat top surface of this key. Usually it will be parallel. The peg fit into the hole provided in the hub of the mounted part. So you can see here, this is the hub. So this is the key. So this projected part or the peg is fitting into the uh, hub portion. Hub is provided with a circular hole. The key and mounted part move axially as a single unit in the shaft. So if you provide a sufficient key wavelength here, so since it is locked here, this key and hub will act like a single part, and this that single part can be slided over the shaft. The clearance fit between the shaft and the key enable a free movement of the mounted part. Next one is single headed feather key. So it is look like our jib key only, but here it is a parallel key with a jib, and this head is provided with a hole. This key is provided with a head at one end, and it is fixed to the hub of the part by screw. So through this hole we can connect this key with the hub portion, something like this. Here you can see it, how it is connected. Here you can see the see, this is the key, this is the key head. Here you can see a small screw. Through the use of screw, it is connected to the hub. So this hub and this key acts like a single unit. So now we will go through a video where the classifications are given briefly.
Explain the different types of keys with the help of a diagram. Different types of keys are sunk keys, saddle keys, tangent keys, round keys, splines, and Kennedy key. Sunk keys are further classified as rectangular sunk keys, square sunk keys, parallel sunk keys, ship head sunk keys, feather sunk keys, and woodruff sunk keys. Saddle keys are further classified as flat saddle keys and hollow saddle keys. Now let us understand each of these keys one by one. Sunk keys are keys whose one half is in the keyway of the shaft and the other half is in the keyway of the hub of the rotating element. Rectangular sunk keys are keys whose width and height are not equal. Square sunk keys are keys whose width and height are equal. Parallel sunk keys are table-less keys, having a rectangular or square cross-section. It is used where the rotating element is required to slide along the shaft. Ship head keys are rectangular keys with a head at one end, known as ship head. It is usually provided to facilitate the removal of key. Feather keys are either to the shaft or hub. It permits relative axial movement between the shaft and hub and prevents relative rotational movement between them. Woodruff key is a segment from a cylindrical disc as shown. The keyway in the shaft is in the form of a semicircular recess with the same curvature as that of the key. The lower portion of this key fits into the circular keyway in the shaft. Saddle keys are keys that fit in the keyway of the hub only, as there is no keyway on the shaft. Power transmission in the saddle key takes place due to the frictional forces. Flat saddle keys have a flat surface at the bottom, and it sits on the flat surface machined on the shaft. It is likely to slip round the shaft under load, so it is used for comparatively lighter loads. Hollow saddle keys have a concave surface at the bottom to match the circular surface of the shaft. Tangent keys are fitted in pair at right angles for mating bodies of rectangular cross-section as shown. Each key has one inclined side face whose inclination proportion, that is, taper, ranges between 1:60 and 1:100. With its inclined surface turned towards each other, the keys are driven into inclined key slots and hub keyways. Each key withstands torque in one direction only. Round keys are circular in section and fit into holes drilled partly in the shaft and partly in the hub. Splines are inbuilt keys which are formed by shaping the outer circumference of the shaft and the inner circumference of the hub. With tooth-like structures, they are used when there is a relative axial motion between the shaft and the hub. Kennedy keys consists of two square keys, which are mounted in the shaft as shown. In this case, the hub is bored off the center, and the two keys force the hub and the shaft to a concentric position.
That all about the classification of key. Now we will see which are the key we want to sketch. The first one is parallel key. So as I told, for drawing a key, the minimum dimension what we required is its width, thickness, and this width and thickness for a parallel key, width is equal to 0.25d plus 2 mm, where d is the diameter of shaft and thickness t is equal to 0.66 w. W is the width of the key. So if I take, so this is the parallel key, so the length L is depends on the requirement, so there's no constraint for length. So if I take diameter of 40 for your drawing, you can take the diameter as 40 for all the drawings. First you need to draw only 2D sketches. So this is the sketch of key. So first you draw 100 mm line. From there you go for a thickness. It is equal to 0.66 w. If you count it, you can find it is 8 mm. Then you complete this one and dimension is this, the front view of the parallel key. And same way the side view of the parallel key will be the will show its cross section. So it will be W is the width, so W is equal to 0.25 D into 2 mm, which is if you count it for 40 mm shaft diameter, you will get 12 mm, and also thickness is 8 mm. So you need to draw the same figure in your sketchbook. Along with that, you should also draw the assembly drawing of this one. For that one, first you need to draw the shaft of 40 mm diameter with sufficient length. Over that, you draw the keyway like this, and you draw the key in such a way that the half of the thickness of key should be above the mean shaft surface, and half should be inside the shaft. So from here it should go 0.5 T above the shaft, and from here it should go 0.5 T below the shaft. So this is an arc approximately you can draw with the same diameter of this 0.5 T, and this distance is a keyway distance, that also you can take approximately. This distance is used for removal of key, and this is a parallel key. Over this one you can draw the hub. So when you are starting the drawing, always use thin drawing, and later you make it darken wherever required. This figure shows the side view of this one. The hatched portion here represents shaft, here the hatched portion represents hub. This is the key cross section, which is equal to 12 by 8 mm, and this circle represents that of this one, and the outer circle for this one. So these two diagrams need to be completed or drawn on your observation book in case of parallel key. In case of parallel feather key, this is the parallel feather key. This end may be like arc or straight, whatever it is. The important thing is it should provide with the two holes. So you can draw the same figure of parallel key. If you are drawing parallel feather key, you should make a provision for screw here and here. That means two holes should be provided. Then you should draw this figure. You can see two screws are here, and for this one you can take any approximate diameter. It doesn't matter anyway, since it is 8 mm, you can take 2 mm diameter screws. So this figure plus this figure should be drawn for parallel feather keys. All other dimension will be same. Now taper Sankey, the width thickness relation remains same. We have to take diameter equal to 40 mm. This is the taper Sankey. The only difference is this is the required figure. Here it is not 4 mm, it should be 8 mm, because this is a relation. So if it is 8 mm, the required taper is 1:100 mm. So we are drawing a 100 mm long key. That means if the thickness is 8 here, the other end it should be 7 mm, because for 100 mm the thickness is reducing by 1 mm. The base should be parallel, and the taper should be given on the top surface only, and other figures remain same. Only thing is that instead of a parallel key, it should be replaced with the taper key. This is the third figure you need to draw in your sketchbook. Now taper Sankey with the jib. So we know that this is the jib portion. So we need jib dimension. So width of jib head B. This is the width of jib head. It is 1.5 T. It is added over the length. And height of jib head, this is the total height of jib, it is 1.5 t. So this is the head 1.5, and this is so if you take the side view, one more line will be added here, so you draw it appropriately. 1.5 t is 14 mm. Rickett figure, some small mistakes are here in this figure. One is this 100 mm should be from this point to this point as per this figure. So the distance B is equal to 1.5 t, that is 14 mm. So this is 14 mm and this total height is 14 mm. Then from here this height is 8 mm. So this point also 8 mm. So what you want to do is from this point draw a 45-degree line that will meet here. So it will comes in this shape. So this is the 45-degree, this 8 mm, and here to here it is 1.5 t, it is 14. Then here to here it is 100 mm. Since here it is 8 mm, if you move and it is tapered key, if you move in along the length, if it is 8 mm here, the other end will be 7 mm. So this is only difference from the normal tapered key. So this is the assembly drawing. Here you can see all the drawings. The top side is tapered. Here it's a jib. From here to here it is 100. So the left side view is shown here. You can see the jib and all. So these two figures need to be drawn in your sketchbook. Now we have next one is Woodruff key. We know that Woodruff key is semicircular. So the Rickett dimensions are, one is first you draw vertical and horizontal axis, then take this as center. Now you draw a line at a distance of 0.25 t, where t is equal to d by 6, and draw a line parallel to this first horizontal axis. Then from the center take a radius of 2t and draw a arc starting from here to here, touching the horizontal line which we have drawn. The Rickett thickness t is equal to d by 6, that you should draw in the side view, and top view again will be a rectangle with the thickness of t and length of 2r or 4t. So this figure you need to draw along with this proportion in your sketchbook. Next one is peg feather key. So these are the dimension. So all other proportions are same. The project so this is the Rickett dimension. These two are the figures Rickett, and the diameter of this peg will be equal to width of the key, means W. So diameter of this peg is W, and this is the assembly drawing. Here you can see the peg is sitting into the hub. So this is a Rickett figure, this is side view. So these two set of figures you should draw in your sketchbook, taking D as 40 mm. So all the figures you should take diameter as 40 mm. Then single headed feather key. This is the last kind of key. It is single headed feather key. These are the dimensions. The proportions, two proportions are missing here, H and B. Anyway, this B is equal to W, and this B is equal to H. So this is the Rickett dimension. This is the dimension. The proportions are missing here, H and B. Anyway, this B is equal to W, and this B is equal to H. So this is the Rickett dimension. and h is equal to 14. So that proportion I will add in the Google Sheet. So these two figures you need to draw